Welcome back. Butchered that one again. Welcome, those of you that are new, and welcome back, those of you that aren't. This is Gavin Noonday on Noonday Reads. Gonna pick up where I left off with the last video from Wild at Heart. Westward expansion against the soul. The way a man's life unfolds nowadays tends to drive his heart into remote regions of his soul. Endless hours at a computer screen, selling shoes at a mall, meetings, memos, phone calls. The business world, where the majority of American men live and die, requires a man to be efficient and punctual. Corporate policies and procedures are designed with one aim: to harness a man to the plow and make him produce. But the soul refuses to be harnessed. It knows nothing of day timers and deadlines and PL statements. The soul longs for passion, for freedom, for life. As D.H. Lawrence said, "I'm not a mechanism. A man needs to feel the rhythms of the earth. He needs to have in hand something real. The thriller about a boat. The tiller of a boat, the set of reins, the roughness of rope, or simply a shovel. Can a man live all of his days to keep his fingernails clean and trim? Is that what a boy dreams of? Society at large can't make up its mind about men, having spent the last 30 years defining masculinity into something more sensitive, safe, manageable, and, well, feminine. It now berates men for not being men. Boys will be boys, they say, through a sigh. As though if a man were to truly grow up, he would forsake wilderness and wanderlust and settle down and be at home forever in Aunt Polly's parlor. Where are all the real men? As a regular fare for talk shows and news books. You ask them to be women, I want to say. The result is a gender confusion never experienced at such a wide level of history in the history of the world. How can a man know he is one? How can a man know he is one when his highest aim is minding his manners? And then, alas, there's the church. Christianity, as it currently exists, has done some terrible things to men. Then, when all is said and done, I think most men in the church believe that God put them on the earth to be a good boy. The problem with men, we are told, is that they don't know how to keep their promises, be spiritual leaders, talk to their wives, or raise their children. But if they will try real hard to reach the lofty summit of becoming a nice guy, That's what we hold up as models of Christian maturity. Really nice guys who don't smoke, drink, or swear. That's what makes us men. Now, let me ask my male readers and listeners, for those of you listening, in all your boyhood dreams growing up, did you ever dream of becoming a nice guy? Ladies, was the prince of your dreams dashing or merely nice? Really now, do I overstate my case? Walk into most churches in America, have a look around, and ask yourself this question: what is a Christian man? Don't listen to what is said. Look at what you find there. There is no doubt about it. You have to admit a Christian man is bored. At a recent church retreat, I was talking to a guy in his 50s, listening really about his own journey as a man. I've pretty much tried for the last 20 years to be a good man as the church defines it. Intrigued, I asked him to say what he thought that was. He paused for a long moment. Dutiful, he said, and separated from his home. A perfect description, I thought. Sadly, right on the mark. As Robert Bly laments, oh, thought that was his last name. As Robert Bly laments in Iron John, quote, some women want a passive man, if they want a man at all. The church wants a tamed man. They're called priests. The university wants domesticated men. They are called tenure track people. The corporation wants a sanitized, hairless, shallow man. End quote. It all comes together as a sort of westward expansion against the masculine soul. And thus, the heart of a man is driven into the high country, into remote places, like a wounded animal looking for cover. Women know this, and lament that they have no access to their man's heart. Men know it too, but are often unable to explain why their heart is missing. They know their heart is on the run, but they often do not know where to pick up the trail. The church wags its head and wonders why it can't get more men to sign up for its programs. The answer is simply this: we have not invited a man to know and live from his deep heart. An invitation. But God made the masculine heart, set it within every man, and thereby offers him an invitation. Come and live out what I meant you to be. Permit me to bypass the entire nature versus nature. Quote. Oh, wait, what? Oh, there's a quote. Is gender really built in? What? Permit me to bypass the entire nature versus nature is gender really built in debate with one simple observation. That's a really awkward sentence. Just throwing that out there. Men and women are made in the image of God, as men or as women. So God created man in his own image. Populace. In the image of God, He created him, male and female. He created them. Genesis 1:27. Now we know God doesn't have a body, so the uniqueness can't be physical. Gender simply must be at the level of the soul, in the deep and everlasting places within us. God doesn't make generic people. He makes something very distinct, a man or a woman. In other words, there is a masculine heart and a feminine heart, which in their own ways reflect and portray to the world God's heart. Which in their own ways reflect and portray to the world God's heart. God meant something when he meant man. And if we are to ever find ourselves, we must find that. What he has said in the what has he said in the masculine heart? Instead of asking what you think you ought to do to become a better man or woman, or for my female readers and listeners, I want you to ask, what makes you come alive? What stirs your heart? The journey we face now is into a land foreign to most of us. We must head into the country that has no clear trail. His character for exploration takes us into our own hearts, into our deepest desires. As the playwright Christopher Fry says, life is a hypocrite if I can't live the way it moves me. There are three desires I find written so deeply into my heart. I know now I can no longer disregard them without losing my soul. They are core to who and what I am and yearn to be. I gaze into my boyhood. I search the pages of literature and listen carefully to many, many men. And I am convinced these desires are universal, a clue to masculinity itself. They may be misplaced, forgotten, misdirected, but in the heart of every man is a desperate desire for a battle to fight, and an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue. I want you to think of the films men love, the things they do with their free time, and especially the aspirations of little boys, and see if I am not right on this. A battle to fight. There's a photo on my wall of a little boy about 5 years old, with a crew cut, big cheeks, and an impish grin. It's an old photograph, and the color is fading, but the image is timeless. It's Christmas morning, 1964, and I've just opened what may have been the best present any boy received on any Christmas ever. A set of two pearl-handed six-shooters, complete with black leather holsters, a red cowboy shirt, and two wild mustangs embroidered on either breast. Shiny black boots, red bandana, and a straw hat. I've donned the outfit and won't take it off for weeks because, you see, it's not a costume at all. It's an identity. Sure, One pant leg is tucked into my boot and the other is hanging out, but that only adds to my fresh off the trail persona. My thumbs are inside my gun belt. My chest is out because I'm armed and dangerous. Bad guys, beware. The town's not big enough for the both of us. Capes and swords, camouflage, bandanas, and six shooters. These are the uniforms of boyhood. Little boys yearn to know they are powerful, they are dangerous, they are someone to be reckoned with. But how many parents have tried in vain to prevent little Timmy from playing with guns? Give it up, because if you do not supply a boy with weapons, he will make them from whatever materials are at hand. My boys chew their graham crackers into the shape of guns at the breakfast table. Every stick or fallen branch is a spear, or better, a bazooka. Despite what many modern educators would say, this is not a physical or no, this is not a psychological disturbance brought on by violent television or chemical imbalance. Aggression is part of the masculine design. We are hardwired for it. If we believe that man is made in the image of God, then we do well to remember that the Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Exodus 15:3. Little girls do not invent games where large numbers of people die, where bloodshed is a prerequisite for having fun. Hockey, for example, is not a feminine creation, nor was boxing. A boy wants to attack something, and so does a man, even if it's only a little white ball on a tee. He wants to whack it into kingdom come. On the other hand, boys do not sit down to tea parties. They do not call their friends on the phone to talk about relationships. They grow bored of games that have no element of danger or competition or bloodshed. Cooperative games based on relational interdependence are complete nonsense. No one is skilled, they ask. Incredulous. No one wins. What's the point? The universal nature of this ought to have convinced us by now. The boy is a warrior. The boy is his name. And those who are not boyish, and those are not boyish antics he is doing. When boys play at war, they are rehearsing their part in a much bigger drama. One day, you just might need that boy to defend you. Those Union soldiers who charged the stone walls at Bloody Ankle, the Allied troops that hit the beaches of Normandy or the sands of Iwo Jima, what would they have done in this deep part of their heart without their, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I can't read. What would they have done without this deep part in their heart? Life needs a man to be fierce and fiercely devoted. The wounds he will take throughout his life will cause him to lose heart if all he has been trained to be is soft. This is especially true of the murky waters of relationships, where a man feels least prepared to advance. As Bly says, in every relationship, something fierce is needed once in a while. Now, this longing may have submerged from years of neglect, and man may not feel that he is up to the battles he knows await him. Or it may have taken a very dark turn, as it has with inner city gangs. But the desire is there. Every man wants to play the hero. Every man needs to know if he is powerful. Women didn't make Braveheart one of the best-selling films of the decade. Flying Tigers, Bridge on the River of Kauai, The Magnificent Seven, Shane, High Noon, Saving Private Ryan, Top Gun, the Die Hard films, Gladiator. The movies a man loves reveal what his heart longs for. What is set inside him from the day of his birth. Like it or not, there's something fierce in the heart of every man. An adventure to live. Quote, my mother loves to go to Europe on her vacations, end quote. We were talking about her love for the West, a friend and and why he moved out here from the East Coast. And that's okay for her, I guess. And that's okay for her, I guess. There's a lot of culture there. But I need wilderness. Our conversation was stirred by the film Legends of the Fall, the story of three young men coming of age in the early 1900s on their father's ranch in Montana. Alfred, the eldest, is practical and pragmatic, cautious. He heads off to the big city to become a businessman and eventually a politician. Yet something inside him dies. He becomes a hollow man. Samuel, the youngest, is still a boy in many ways, a tender child, literate, sensitive, timid. He is killed early in the film, and we know he was not ready for battle. Then there's Tristan, the middle son. He is wild at heart. It is Tristan who embodies the West. He catches and breaks the wild stallion, fights the grizzly with a knife, and wins the beautiful woman. I have yet to meet a man who wants to be Alfred or Samuel. I have yet to meet a woman who wants to marry one. There's no reason the American cowboy has taken on mythic proportions. He embodies a yearning every man knows from very young to go west, to find a place where he can be all he knows he was meant to be. To borrow Walter, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm going to butcher it. To borrow Walter Brueggemann's description of God. Quote, wild, dangerous, unfettered, and free. Now let me stop for a moment to make something clear. I am no great white hunter. I have no dead animals adorning the walls of my house. I didn't play college football. In fact, in college I weighed 135 pounds. I wasn't much of an athlete. Despite my childhood dreams, I have never been a race car driver or a fighter pilot. I have have no interest in televised sports. I don't like cheap beer, and though I do drive an old Jeep, it, its tires are not ridiculously large. I say this because I anticipate that many readers, good men and women, will be tempted to dismiss this as some sort of macho man prep rally. Not at all. I'm simply searching, as many men and hopeful women are, for an authentic masculinity. When winter fails to provide an adequate snow base, my boys bring their sleds in the house and ride them down the stairs. Just the other day, my wife found them with a rope out their second story bedroom window, preparing to rappel down the side of the house. The recipe for fun is pretty simple, raising boys. Add to any activity an element of danger. Stir in a little exploration and a dash of destruction, and you've got yourself a winner. The way they ski is a perfect example. Get to the top of the highest run, point your skis straight down and go. The faster the better. This doesn't end with age. The stakes simply get higher. A judge in his 60s, a real southern gentleman, with a pinstripe suit and an elegant manner of speech, pulled me aside during the conference. Quietly, almost apologetically, he spoke of his love for sailing, for the open sea, how he and a buddy eventually built their own boat. Then came a twinkle in his eye. We were off sailing the west coast of Bermuda a few years ago when we were hit by a northeaster, a raging storm. Really, it came up out of nowhere. 20-foot swells and a 30-foot homemade boat. I thought we were all going to die. I paused for dramatic effect, and then he confessed. It was the best time of my life. Compare your experience watching the latest James Bond or Indiana Jones thriller with, say, going to Bible study. The guaranteed success of each new release makes it clear. Adventure is written into the heart of a man. And it's not just about having fun. Adventure requires something of us, puts us to the test. Though we may fear the test, at the same time we yearn to be tested, to discover that we have what it takes. That's why we set off down the Snake River against all sound judgment. Why a buddy and I pressed on through grizzly country to find good fishing. Why I went off to Washington, D.C. as a young man to see if I could make it in those shark-infested waters. If a man has lost this desire, says he doesn't want it, it's simply because he doesn't know he has what it takes, believes that he will fail the test, and so he decides it's better not to try. For reasons I hope to make clear later, most men hate the unknown, and like Cain, want to settle down and build their own city. Get on top of their life. But you can't escape it. There's something wild in the heart of every man. Page 14. And that there is where we'll be stopping today. I hope hope you enjoy, and I hope you come back.